Peace, love, and light, soul fam. I hope all is well with everyone. So today, I will be sharing the story of how my children were taken out of my care. Without further ado, here we go. It was 2019 when I was experiencing major spiritual attacks from a coven of witches that was a part of the Hebrew Israelite community, that's a part of a secret society. I was under attack. My children were under attack. I got fed up with them sending black magic to me and my children. So I decided to take my children and move to a shelter where I was in 2016, a women's shelter for battered women. I had exactly less than $200, which was about 700 shekels. The cab driver wanted me to pay 800, and I only had 700. I told him that when we got there, that I was going to pay him the other 100. So when we got there, mind you, I had no more money. They shut the gate on our face and told me to call social services. The cab driver was like, okay, now what? What do you want from me? Now what? Now how can I help you? And you still owe me 100 shekels. So I told him that I was going to give him the money. I just needed time. So he asked what did I want to do now. I packed up 5 children. At the time I had my newborn. He was only 2 months old. So I packed my children up and I went to the shelter. They closed the gate on our face, told me to call social services because I did not inform social services. So the cab driver helped me out. He gave me a ride to the police station. At the police station I filed a report that the coven of witches were sending black magic to my home, to me and my children. So they asked what was my plan. And I told them that I want to be in a shelter with my children. We had all of our things. We were on the floor. We were sitting on the floor in the police station all day. My children running around playing, and I spoke to about 5 social workers, 5 of them. Each of them told me I have to wait. After filing a report about that, they thought that I was crazy. I didn't know that then. But they told me that I have to wait. I spoke to them. One, she told me I have to wait about an hour. I waited an hour. She ended up not coming through. I waited for like a few more hours. None of them were coming through. They told me to wait. They waited until 12 o'clock a.m. when my babies fell asleep. The officers, they brought mattresses for my children to sleep on. We were outside, and we was in a police station, but we were like in the yard. So they bought mattresses for my children to sleep on. Next thing I know, social services come with a letter from the judge stating that that it is illegal for my kids to be out sleeping outside on the ground, and that they are to take my children from me and place them in the care of my grandparents. Soon enough, guess who fucking walked through the goddamn door? My grandparents. I'll never forget that fucking smirk they had on their faces. It was evil and wicked as fuck. The pedophiles. The mentally ill motherfuckers. That's how my children ended up out of my care. My 5 youngest children. Now when it comes to my 3 oldest children, I was tricked. I was kicked out of my home in 2013 because my grandmother called me a witch in front of my daughter, in front of my twins, and I told her to get the fuck out of my room, to get the hell out of my room. Told her to get the hell out of my room. And she called her husband. Her husband came to my home. He came to the house where I was living with them, into my room, and told me to apologize. I said, I'm not apologizing to her. I'm not apologizing to her. She basically cussed me out in front of my children. I'm not apologizing to her. He said, yeah, take your shit and get the fuck out. I took my shit and I got the fuck out. Now, I was staying at one of my friend's houses that was next, one of my classmates' houses that was next to my home in the village where we live. So, I was staying there for like 3 days. Then I decided to go to Natanya. I stayed in Natanya. I stayed in my stepsister's home with her husband and her kids. And one of my besties, one of my childhood friends, he developed to be a bestie. Better yet, anyway. We would hang out a lot. Every day, I spent my entire days finding work, trying to get hired on jobs. Every day, I woke up in the morning and I went out job hunting. Now, my plan was to find a job, was to get hired, rent my own apartment, and get my children back in my care. Now, I was staying with my stepsister then. I remember just like yesterday. I was on the computer one day, and out of nowhere, she had friends over. Out of nowhere, she tried to front me off. Out of nowhere, she tells me, my name then was Nisa. That's my first name. Nisa, you're not going to come up here doing what the fuck you want. I turned around, I looked at her. I turned back around, put my headphones in my ear. She said, get your shit. You can get your shit and you can get the fuck out. I packed my shit. I knew the game then. I packed my shit and I began to get the fuck out. I was playing the song Drop the World by Eminem, blasting in my ears. I had on headphones. So I started to sing. And I'ma pick the world up and I'ma drop it on your fucking head. Haha, yeah. I could die now, rebirth, motherfuckers. Hop up in my spaceship and leave Earth, motherfuckers. I'm gone. Motherfuckers, I'm gone. So she like, don't be cussing in front of my kids and this and that. She got hostile. She decided she wanted to lay hands on me. So I fucked her up inside of her own home in front of her kids. I fucked her up. Now I can go, bitch. I went down, my homeboy helped me pack my shit. He was living there at the time. He helped me pack my shit. And we were downstairs from the house, just sitting in the park. I had nowhere to go. Because my stepbrothers, they didn't want to take me in. My stepbrothers didn't want to take me in. So I had nowhere to go. This ring my daughter gave me. I know it's dingy. My daughter gave me. I'm going to wear it until I can't wear it anymore. Look, it's changing up my finger color and everything. Anyway. So I was downstairs. I had nowhere to go. I was giving myself the pep talk. You know what? I'm going to be successful one day. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. I'm going to be successful one day. Y'all going to remember this day when I had nowhere to go and I was homeless. Y'all going to remember this day right here. Remember this day. Remember me for being this particular person if you want to. Because one day I'm going to be great. One day I'm going to be this. One day I'm going to be that. I'm going to be one of the wealthiest women on earth, if not the wealthiest woman on earth. I'm going to be that. My kids going to have everything they ever wanted. My children going to be this. They're going to be that. I was giving myself the pep talk. You couldn't tell me absolutely nothing. When I say you couldn't tell me nothing, you couldn't tell me nothing. Bet. So anyway, my stepbrothers decided to take me in. They took me in. I continued job hunting. I continued to job hunt. And I found no job. No job will hire me. No business will hire me because I had no previous job experience. I've been at home raising kids since I was 19 years old. So I had no work experience. All I knew how to do is raise children. That's all I knew how to do. So long story short, my grandparents needed money for my children. I couldn't provide for them because I had no job. So what they asked me to do is sign papers so that the government give them money every month. I did not know that I was filing for them to be guardianships over my children. I was tricked into signing papers so they can have guardianship over my babies. That's how my oldest 3 children, my oldest son and my twins, ended up in their care. In the documents, they mentioned my addiction, my nice guy addiction. I was smoking nice guy K4, K400, something like that. K4, K400, I can't quite remember what it was. I was smoking that previously. It wasn't current. Previously, I was smoking that. Before that. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And they like, no, it's just mandatory for us to mention this and, just so that it can be on record. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Just so that it can be on record. Anyway, long story short, I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video here because this is pissing me off. But that's how my babies ended up out of my care. And it's a fucked up situation, Now I have 1 year left. Well, actually 10 months left before my babies, all of them, be back in my care. I have 10 months left. Is what I was told from social services. All I have to do is remain clean. And that's about it.